Mm. Hello everybody, welcome to another vlog, live stream on my vlogs channel. You won't believe the day I had today. And I was in Civic if you're in Canberra you'd know where Civic is. I've been there most of the afternoon. So we were watching going to, the sort out, they get my phone sorted out. Because and then we also did the shopping there. But most of the time we were there, the groceries were in the boot of the car, so the ice cream was like mostly melted, but yeah, and I had a Dolce ice cream there. It's not really the day I was planning, but I had to get that done. And because the reason we went back is because a few days ago, I forgot what day it was, but a few days ago I had my phone repaired. But the place we went to, called Happytel, well, they use parts from donated phones. So when I got that part, only yesterday I decided I'm going to go and configure it, get that done. Well, so I connected to Wi-Fi, agreed to the terms and conditions, all of that. And then I need to find out that the part is locked to the previous owner. So I can't configure it. I'm like, well, that's odd. So I go to talk to Dad about this. And so we go and sort it out the next day. So that was today, Friday. And then the day off, thankfully. Because, like before we go somewhere or do something, we look it up on the internet first. So, and we saw on Apple, on their website, it specifically says they cannot help with parts activation lock. Because since iOS 18, now when the phone is activation lock, it's not just the phone itself, it's individual parts too. But now, one thing I do have to say is from this whole experience is that when you're donating your phones, make sure to remove it from iCloud first so the parts don't get locked, because the person who then gets that part won't be able to configure it. So, because of the experience, I can't I do not recommend Happytel. Do not go there. So we went there, bought my phone with me. We went there, they put another screen on there, only for that screen to also be locked to another owner. At that time it was a phone number in China. Before it was an email ending in something at iCloud.com, and then it was then there was a phone number, a Chinese phone number. So of course it was locked again. So my dad, he starts arguing because the guy that works there, he had never even heard of the parts activation lock before. So he thought that things are not true. He clearly also didn't read the Apple website, because it was, that Apple can't help with that kind of activation lock. I mean, you can get it removed. You can get the previous owner, to remotely remove it from iCloud Find My, but that's if you know who they are. But even because the phones are donated, they don't know they don't have a clue who the previous owners are. The previous owners were, because the phones were donated. But if you're going to donate a phone, you want to remove it from your account first so it doesn't get locked. Because that was an annoying experience I had to go through, so I had to pay another $499. And we didn't get a refund because their manager said no. So we didn't get a refund. Then at the end, they still gave us a refund, because otherwise my dad was going to take it to Sydney, and I guess they didn't want to get in trouble, which is why they gave us a refund anyway. But I got to keep the case though. Oh my God. Because when you don't configure it, this notification gets triggered by iOS that says display that specific part is not recognized, like the display. That's because, that's triggered by iOS when it detects the part that it doesn't recognize, which is what was happening. But you get rid of that you can get rid of that notification when you configure it. Otherwise, you cannot get rid of it, not permanently. So that's why, but I couldn't configure those displays because they were both activation locked. So you can't configure them if they're locked to the previous owner. So that's why we had to go back there today and get that sorted out. So we got the second display, was also locked. So that was no success whatsoever. So after okay, don't spit all over me. Teddy, please stop spitting all over me. Oops. So after getting two displays put on the phone that are both activation locked, we decided we wanted a refund. But they didn't give us a refund at the time. They wouldn't give us a refund because the manager said no. And you have to follow what your manager said, because if you don't abide, if you just ignore what your manager says and then and then they still give a refund, you can get fired. You lose your job if you do that, because that's basically your boss. So I can understand that, but it's typical that. But yeah, so we got oops, sorry. But yeah, so we got 2 screens. So yeah, after getting 2 displays for the activation lock, we decided to get but yeah, they wouldn't give us a refund that we asked. So yeah, but then we also decided we would try and find another repair shop. Luckily near Happy Tail, there's this other repair shop nearby called Universal Phones. So we went and checked out that place. And behold, hold on, let me just unlock my phone, if I can scan my face properly. If I go to settings, the notification is gone. You can't see it on camera because my screen's too bright, but the notification is gone because that place uses displays that are not from donated phones and they're genuine. I had a green tick. It worked. So $499 was worth it, even though it was more expensive. Then I saw online at Happy Tail, because Universal Phones have more reviews, but their rating is a 4.6. But Happy Tail is a 4.7. They've got a little bit more of a rating than Universal Phones. Which I still couldn't believe, and yeah. Then we finally got that sorted out. My god. Yeah, after that, yeah, we finally got that sorted out after going to that place. We finally got it sorted out. I mean, that was quite a day. Then before we all went there, I had to get the timber frame taken off my TV, that side, because the TV kept saying, check device power, and what fixed it is the one thing I didn't try was unplugging and plugging the HDMI back into the television. And then my capture card wouldn't power with the front port, so I thought maybe the front port just gave up on life, but it actually still works. So now I thought maybe it was the cord, but just then I turned the cord around and it just started working again. I'm like, what? Because I didn't see any damage or feel any damage on the cord, so yeah, that didn't make sense. But anyway. Yeah, I still can't believe that. So we didn't get a chicken today like we do on Fridays because it was already like 5 o'clock in the evening. It was already a bit too late because he spent most of the afternoon in Civic trying to get that sorted out. And of course, yeah, mostly my dad was arguing back and forth with the guy because he didn't know he was an idiot. He didn't know no offense though, but he didn't know what he was talking about. Then he never heard of a parts activation lock before. And he had to call his manager a couple of times. I bet his manager would have been annoyed because he kept getting phone calls from the same guy a couple of times today. Yeah, I mean, honestly. Yeah, and of course, my dad only called that place, to get a repair because it had such a good rating. But how could he have possibly known that they'd used parts of donated phones that are still locked to previous owners? See, this is why, because you can donate a phone in camera, but if you're going to donate your phone, you might want to remove it from iCloud first. You're supposed to remove it from your iCloud account first. If you're donating an Apple device, because that way it doesn't get like Google or something similar. But if you're donating an Apple device, you're supposed to remove it from your Apple account first, which clearly those people were not doing when they were donating it. They're bloody hopeless. Because the individual parts get locked too nowadays. Since iOS 18 came out, now the individual parts of the phone also get locked. So yeah, that was a little annoying. Anyway, I just thought I'd share about my day, But yeah, at least I got to have an ice cream. I mean, it's the sort of me from Biodolce, Yeah, and other than that, yeah, it's quite a day today, on a Friday too. Yeah, that's the one thing you want to do on a Friday, Still can't believe that. Yeah, I'm still speechless, honestly, but yeah, but I can definitely recommend the Universal Phones place since they don't use phone parts from donated phones. Anyway, that was my day today. Very interesting. Not what I planned, but hey, I mean, at least I got an ice cream in the end. Before dinner, of course, and we hadn't eaten dinner yet. But anyway, yeah, that just thought I'd share my day. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I mean, and also, if you were having a day like this, if this would happen to you, when you get your phone repaired, what would you do? I mean, I would say let me know in the comments below, but on my channels I don't have the comments turned on. So, but yeah, what would you do in this situation? Because I also had to take some deep breaths because I generally was getting ready to lose it because of how ridiculous it was. I literally wanted to lose it right there on the campus center, which is why I took some deep breaths and then calmed down because that's how annoyed I was. My anger was rising. That's how annoyed I was. I literally wanted to lose it. I wanted to lose my shit. Literally, it was ridiculous. But anyway, that was my day today. God, I hope I don't want to have another one of those days anymore. Because that was not fun, but anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next stream. Bye-bye. Have a great evening, and a